Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. So this is what we're calling our afternoon jam session, but what it is a chance to share with you some extraordinary young people and also some extraordinarily slightly more senior people. So I'm going to start by telling you, first of all, it means a lot that you're here to share this experience with us on this stage. I first came to the Aspen Institute 10 years ago, and I danced on this stage. I was still a dancer at New York City Ballet. And I gave some sort of survey about dance in America, and it's a pretty interesting shaped stage. I kind of danced back and forth and trying to do it. But I had a sense that I was actually sharing with people who were intensely interested. And it's not about decorativeness. It's actually about inclusion. It's about taking you to a place that we're doing work. And I'm going to say, what is that work? It's the work of collaboration. It's the work about sharing our own voices of various kinds, whether we're musicians or writers or dancers or on and on. Whatever you do, you have a chance to participate either narrowly or going wide. And this is about going wide. That's what this is. The young people you see behind us here, you're going to meet each of them through their work today. They are young poets from around the country. They're a part of what we call the Creative Young Leaders Alliance. It started here in Aspen 4 years ago with 10 young people from around the country who came here to do the traditional thing, the Aspen Seminar, what they call the original product, reading Sophocles, staging Antigone, reading Adichie, Martin Luther King Jr., and engaging in the great philosophical questions of our time, but with a particular angle to creating a network of young leaders in the arts, people with a creative intention to further our society into the future. This is our 4th year doing this. We do programs around the country during the year, and when I say we, I'm talking about the Aspen Institute and the Aspen Institute Arts program specifically. And our mission really is to empower these young voices in the arts and creative life. And they come from a lot of different experiences, as you will hear in their poems. They bring a lot to all of the discussions here at Ideas, as maybe you heard even last night, for instance, at Norman Lear and Khazar Khan's extraordinary talk. Some of those questions were coming from some of these young people. And they are here to experience what they can in every sense of the world, from the literature of antiquity to getting to rub shoulders right there with Dolores Huerta and talk about what it means to be active as a participant in society today. It also means getting to collaborate with great artists who come here to participate in Ideas Festival and young artists who are here at the cusp of their career. So I'm going to introduce a few of them right now who have been collaborating with us over the last day or two. This is Harry Ward. Harry is a young violinist from Aspen Music Festival. He's a student of the great Robert McDuffie, who couldn't be here today, but he said, I got something better. And he connected me with Harry, and Harry's been just going nuts in trying to interact with these poems and find ways in. And that's an important part of this. It's just not given to you, it is assumed. This is something we haven't even talked about. Power is not given, power is assumed. You assume power. Harry assumed the power of a collaborator. He listened and he thought, I think I can do this. I think I can do that. He didn't wait for us to tell him what to do. So we welcome you, Harry, and we welcome your spirit. Thank you so much. We've got 2 unbelievable people who you'll meet over the course of the week at Ideas Festival here. One is not new to you. Can I present Lil Buck? Lil Buck has been coming here. He's a harmonizer artist in residence. He'll be participating with the poets today, as he always does. He is the collaborator-in-chief in the best sense of that word. And he does so many different things that inspire everybody around him, including his colleague John Buggs right here, director and dancer. John and Lil Buck have a project which you'll learn about on Wednesday morning, hopefully, and also tomorrow afternoon with a focus on a project called Color of Reality. Both of those sessions will talk about the use of dance and the arts in general in pursuit of social justice. I hope you'll join us for those, and I know you will after you see them today, because they are literally changing the world through their art form and what they do for everybody. You do not have to be an artist to take what they do. You take it with you no matter what you do. So John and Buck, thanks for joining us today. And then, to kick us off here, we've got Yosimar Reyes, who is a poet. He is an activist. He is the artist in residence for Jose Antonio Vargas's Define America, and he is a poet who has inspired me greatly. And I wanted Yosi to join in this. He'll be participating in his own sessions, but he's going to kick us off with a poem right now. Are you ready, Yosi? All right, let's do it.
Buenas tardes. How's everybody doing? Y'all good? Okay, that's what's up. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Yosimar Reyes. I'm a poet, a writer that happens to be undocumented. So if you haven't seen an undocumented person, this is what we look like. You can take your phone out, take a picture. When I got the invitation to come perform, I was like, oh my God, what do I gotta clean? Let's do it. And in the spirit of the immigrant spirit that we do everything, it just so happens that I'm also a writer and a poet. So I would like to share this poem with you. Is that okay with you? Okay.
Please.
So this poem's titled My Revolutionary. It's a love poem. Anybody in love here? Okay, that's cute. Congratulations. And no, love is cute in theory, not in practice sometimes. It goes like this. You tell me you don't like the city. That these buildings, this concrete numbs the senses, cages the spirit, and baby, your spirit was meant to be free. You, my love, were born to be revolutionary. Like the winds we felt sitting on top of the world, free like the tobacco you offer to blow blessings free. Like palabras sagradas que salen de tu boca y las rimas femeninas y masculinas that you buzz here on stage. You are my revolutionary, not a guerrero but a healer, because in times of conflict, mi rey, you heal. And more than body, I must agree with you that you are spirit, because more than your flesh, I'm el ojo de corazón que tienes. You are the reason why I love men with noble hearts, the reason why I don't mind sharing a bed with someone. For men like you, I will write a million barks, get lost in Oakland, and find your house beneath the brightest star. Mi vida, you come from tierra, where the spirits of those who felt you cross over Rome. You come from el desierto, but baby, we all know you are not deserted. You got me, and together we are four spirits, like the four directions. You have the creator behind you. You are his creation, his masterpiece, and in this journey you are traveling, you have managed to leave your footprints in my heart. I carry your breath in my hair, your teachings in my true spirit. You are fluid, como los ríos que nuestra gente ha cruzado. You remind me that the only possessions we have in this world are our bodies and our voice, and the combination of the two must be used to honor the spirits of los antepasados. This life is a ritual, and in its sacredness, I'm so glad I'm able to hug you. You are my revolutionary, and as you make your transition back home into the arms of your mother, into the lips of your father, I ask that you take this poem with you. I ask that you take a memory of me with you. Plant these en la tierra que te vio nacer, en esa tierra que ha sido bautizada con la sangre sagrada de nuestra gente. And I will assure you that wherever you be, this love will sprout anew. Como el sol por las mañanas, this poem will shine on you. Now go to wherever home is, knowing that in San Jose you leave a brown boy that has nothing but love and respect for you. In the meantime, I will stay here in this shitty city, in this cage, singing and singing till the system crumbles, till borders break, till the earth shakes and our people become awake. I will be here singing and singing until the day in which we are all free to return home.
Yes! Yosimar! Yosimar! Woo! Okay. So now we're going to have the first of one of our collaborations. Please welcome Jada. And you guys, you may have noticed there's a little bit of audio going up here. You want to explain what that's about for a second?
Everyone. And I noticed Miss right here got the snaps. You heard the snaps, huh? Some people heard the mms out there too. Word. And so if you feel something, feel free to show that through your snaps, right? Can we put the snapping hand in the air?
Let's hear it.
There we go. You hear that? You feel that? Word, the mms too. Because sometimes poetry hits us even in our stomach like it's delicious, right? And it's nourishing us. These words are nourishing us. So peace, everybody. My name is Jada Imani. I represent Tattoo Vision, a collective that my brother and I founded in Oakland. We create healing spaces twice a month. And I also represent hip-hop culture. In the spirit of hip-hop culture, I invite you all to also collaborate and sing with me. So when I say, never let the system control me, no, it, the no, it is for all of us, okay? Got it? Let's try one time. Never let the system control me. Y'all are on point. Let's get it. Hit it, Harry.
Second for the essay. No!
Don't follow what a puppet said. Learn it from the source. I read there wanna snatch and probe my head. My head will never let the system control me. Never let the system control me.
No,
No,
no.
I cannot foresee. Life is full of choices. Lemonade, poison, divine appointments. Chop it up one man on my block who can't afford these. Neighborhood invested in stock, but oh boy, this game is going through changes all day. These hands open, begging for change, and I pay this world with all my love for remaking. Maybe tomorrow we will all be awake. I keep the faith, but don't follow what a puppet said. Learning from the source, I read they wanna snatch and probe my head. My head will never let the system control me. Never let the system control me. Don't follow what a puppet said. Learning from the source, I read they wanna snatch and probe my head. My head will never let the system control me.
Oh, no.
Never let the system control me.
No, no.
Look, God is all around me, homie. I don't need religion. Hand me down to shopping, homie. I don't need clothes business. Everlasting family, so I don't need marketing. Ecosystems like the trees won't ever need capitalism. I'll paint white supremacy, all colors like LGBT. See the struggle in the link from sharecropping to ocean ink. Yes, there's problems socially, but threat to lies below the sea. Levels to this shit. They don't show the other 43. I won't go to bed with no lazy lying on my dream before I lay my head. Call creator, let the forces speak. Follow messages. Yeah, that's right, I do hear voices be. And look, this is what they told me. Plant your food, grow your greens, heal your home and your community. We in this life. Before we leave, must organize for all disease. Plant your food grow, your green, heal your home and your community. Cause we in this life, before we leave, we must organize for all disease. Organize for all disease, we must organize for all disease.
Hey! Jada and Kosi and Harry. Woo! Okay, Ryan. Please welcome Ryan.
My name is Ryan Volpe. I'm from Lincolnwood, but no one knows what I say when I say that, so I'm from a suburb of Chicago. I feel so underdressed because y'all just look so good. Anyway, so this first piece is not a piece that I've written. It's by an amazing poet called Heather Kristoff, and it's called Summer.
Hold. Okay.
Today you find yourself guilty. As the rim you split an egg against, you press charges. You spell out your name like the letters are medals for good conduct in a bad war. The night moves in with you, into your room until even your sleep is not your own. Through the window, the grass tells you to give up and you are trying. But on the other hand, things keep you. The moon, the cars. You undress yourself more deeply down like this is the way to the future. You let the darkness medically examine you so much can't be put back together. To burn the house down, to burn the house up, it's the same problem in any direction. Your matter. You turn on the light. Thank you.
Yes, Ryan. Woo! So, the thing about poetry is vocabulary and timing and the choices we make. So, to give us a lesson in vocabulary of dance, please welcome Lil Buck and Harry, who are going to do a little poem, essentially, about Memphis Jookin, which is the form that Buck practices, the bass that he practices, I should say, because he does all of it. Joining him to help you out with this will be Harry, but also Jada, who you just met. So why don't we do a little Jookin kind of thing? Okay, so Jookin has a bunch of different elements, 3 in particular, and Buck's going to give you the vocabulary of Jookin right now. So let's just let him do that.
Okay, so with Memphis Jookin, how's everybody doing right now? Okay, good. I can make sure. So with Memphis Jookin, there's 3 different styles within it, Jookin being one of them in particular. So the style of Jookin is more fluid. It's really fluid, and it has a lot of foundation mixed with the new school style of it, you know, adding a lot of waves and pops, and as dance evolved, Jookin has evolved, but we still have that basic foundation inside, a part of it, and that's Jookin. So we have chopping, which is the rhythm of chop, 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 chop. So you want to keep this rhythm of chop in your head, but still be musical and still have musicality within this choppy rhythm. And that's chopping. So bucking, which is my all-time favorite, I'm sure you guys know.
Well named.
And yeah, so bucking is the more explosive style of Jookin. It's the more eye-catching, wow, I can't believe this. This guy just broke his ankles and spent on it. Did that really happen? It's that type of style. So it's the more explosive, big blow-up moves. So I'm going to show you each style. I'm going to show you Jookin, chopping, bucking, and I'm going to put it a little together in a little soup for you.
All right. Okay, so you want to ask Jada to help you out with that?
You got it? Okay, so let's do Jookin first.
Scoot that for now. Hey.
We got chopping. Let's hit chopping. 1, 2, 3, let's go.
So.
We also have bucking. 1, 2, 3, let's go.
Hey. Ah. All right.
That's all good.
Now, that was with the cajon. Thank you, Jada. But we made a little piece that actually brought it all together in the soup with a different form of music. Shall we just do that? Harry, you up for this?
Harry can be the broth of the soup.
Okay, let's go.
Thanks, man.
Chopping. Lil Buck and Harry. Beautiful, Buck. All right, so we'll see Buck in a few minutes and Harry in a few minutes, but please join me now in welcoming Al.
Hi, everyone. Okay.
You're good. Yep.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Al.
I'm from Philadelphia. I feel overdressed, and you all look very awesome. The title of my poem is called American Outcast. What is America to me? Blazing suns or restless seas? Ancient red men or savage beasts? I came from them. I try to deny the patriotic flag that still flies high. Since the beginning of time, these people were here. Bloodshed and massacres, thus a trail of tears. By and by, I deny my kinfolk here, when all you see isn't really quite all there. Time goes on, my denial breaks, as Europeans did to an ancient race. What is America to me? A place where liberty isn't guaranteed, where hypocrisy is the only sentiment agreed, where love, once unconditional, now the word is overrated and completely fictional, where beauty is contingent upon the likeness of the skin, the glorification of melanin is considered a sin. Here in America, there is no sense of the individual. These people lose hopes and dreams instead of following their own visuals, force-fed lies, selling souls for bodily rituals. Yet I am still asked, what is America to me?
All right, Al. Please welcome Patricia. Woo!
How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
We're good.
Okay. I'm from Chicago. I'm here with young Chicago authors, and a little of the work that we do is trying to discount the narratives that a lot of our neighborhoods and our city in general faces. So this is my crack at that, and this is called I Am Windy City after Jane Cortez. I am Windy City. Here is my tomato head baton scattered badge in blue. I got my cousin's ears of corn gentrifying in the melting pot. My mouth a mercury lake. I baptized John Baptiste in a barn fight. I am Windy City of red meat. Stockyards of men and factories inside my belly, a jungle of segregated joints. Rub my navy pores with the blood of betadine boys, making steel and stealing it. I am Windy City of Cabrini green giants. Hear my Newport throat croak an 8-hour workday. A Haymarket rally in the projects. Pipe bomb at Pullman's Pied Piper. I work for no one. I am Windy City of bloody gums. My teeth a collection of patina-coated churches. My Ferris wheel earrings feature kind of for the rest of white man Illinois. My boys cleanse the white city with a storm of gunpowder tears. I am Windy City, only dressed in white on Valentine's for all my lovers massacred at the hands of Chirac, a man I don't know who keeps trying to wife me. Chirac is boo-boo the fool and foolish who bull with peeping toms who have a license to strip search. Chirac turned churches into resale gun stores. Chirac, a trap song serenade sung into the wrong ear. Chirac, city of lost, boys under the hood. Chirac could never take my face value of royal flush into Chicago River. My leaning Sears Tower of pizza, my Heineken and soul food, gal feet tap dancing barefoot with my hot-headed friends, my confetti-fleshed comrades. Come, break bread with me.
Beautiful. Patricia. So, she mentioned Young Chicago Authors. Young Chicago Authors is a spectacular institution working in Chicago. Puts on Louder Than a Bomb, the biggest slam poetry competition. All props to them. They have been our partners since the beginning of this program. And speaking of partners, I see Raj Vinakota out there, Youth and Engagement Program of Aspen Institute, working with us to spread this around the country. Thank you, Raj. Another partner since the beginning has been the National Student Poets Program. These are 5 young ambassadors of poetry who come from around the country. They've been coming here for 4 years and participating in this program, so shout outs to them, and there'll be more of these as we go along. Youth Speaks in San Francisco, but for now, please welcome Gopal. Gopal will be joined by Harry and John Bugs.
Hi, my name is Gopal. I'm 18 years old and I'm from Dallas, and I'm really excited to be here. The beginning of the world. The first birth was a cut, knife to stone, sparks filling the mirror with shape and form. The egg, like everything, came first, and then only did it fall into sight. Curves endless, weight perfectly off-center until the mirror showed it where to stop. It was dead at first, spinning in silence on the floor before the stone taught it position. Life, seeing death on the rocks, hid in the marbled shell. It was then the world began, for finally it was too scared to not be alive. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, John. Thank you, Gopal. Thank you, Harry. Okay, let's welcome another national student poet, Joey. Also joined by Harry.
Hey guys, my name is Joey. I'm from Baltimore. This first poem I'm about to share is called Schmaltz. If you don't know, schmaltz is a Yiddish food, and to me it's a food of immigration, of survival, of resilience. I'm so glad Harry's going to be joining me on violin. It glides tectonic along placid soup surface. Slushy shreds of chicken fat split apart with a spoon. Great-grandma did not let a patch of poultry go to waste. Had the bird come unplucked, she would needle tapestries out of its ruffled feathers. She cleaved the shimmer from bone, spread the slippery stuff on burnt toast, and the giblets gone flying to a greasy pan. She left the schmaltz in her mouth like a second tongue, a muscle of manna, of its memory, of a voyage across oceans of borscht. We eat schmaltz so we never lose the slick shine of an old world where shtetl kitchens smoldered through brittle nights and chickens sang arias in pots of molten broth. Soft, solid, and yet so translucent, this food is history's heft. We keep on chewing the fat, letting the bones simmer and spin, serving up the skin. We hope to be rendered right, to be so heart-stuck and essential. Thank you.
Woo! Thank you, Harry. Joey, one more.
This one's called Saturday. This is the heavy one, sorry. Here we go. I saw my aunt on the metro train, saw her slouched, her lips sinking into a toothless mouth. I saw her, and if sight is sovereign, then I wish myself a disbeliever, because I knew the body before me was the only home she had, and I wish that truth and sight were not symbiotic, because the thought struck me suddenly. I had not seen her for years. Not after the fights, not after her voice bursting through the answering machine. It seemed then that our bloods began to strain towards each other, through some clattering magnetism, through some sort of scuttling shift, until I was standing right next to her. Her gaze on the floor. Would we ride this train until it stopped, shuddering at the end of its tracks? Would we get some answer there, in a newly emerged city, in a destination still bearing the lingering shine of shrink wrap? My planned exit passed by. She had still not looked up when a voice announced that the metro is single-tracked, stranded in the singed space between stations. Passengers glanced into the tunnel, saw human cells splitting and dividing against the grainy dark, the same darkness from which souls sprouted out like dandelions. Did I ever really know my aunt, her mind? Once we watched cartoons with the sound snapped off, so it was just ceaseless, unrelenting motion. I was a child and I couldn't understand the grown-up movements which carried my aunt out of a heated home, out of a body I had only later realized was related to my own, as breath is linked to spirit, as dust always follows progression. And on the sightless train I imagined it, our recognition, automatic doors cracking open, an escalator cradling us to daylight, strange and restless wind against our freshly formed faces. Thank you.
Beautiful. Joey. So now, I'm going to ask Yosimar to come back and give us one more. Please welcome back Yosi.
Hi. So I like to joke a lot about being undocumented because right now I feel like we're popular on TV and stuff. So every time I tell people I'm undocumented, they're like, oh my God, how did you cross the border? I was like, I opened my eyes and I was here. I came when I was 3, and yesterday somebody invited me hiking, and I was like, I can't hike because it triggers my genetic memory. So don't invite me hiking. I'm serious. And so I like to tell stories that are talking about undocumented resilience, because to wake up to a country that vilifies you on a daily and to choose to dress this cute, it's an act of resilience. So I'm gonna tell you this story. It's called Goodwill. Anybody ever shopped at a Goodwill truck? How you doing? Well, we used to steal from there before, you know. So it's called Goodwill truck. It goes like this. There's a Goodwill truck down the street. Norberta tells us that at night people just leave bags of clothes outside to donate. No security, she says. She schemes this plan to gather all the neighborhood kids so we can help her search through the donations. Our payoff is that we get to find old toys and we get to be bad. Abuela decides that she wants to join in on the fun. So as soon as it hits 9 o'clock, we all meet at the courtyard. She tells us the game plan. Okay, pay attention. We're gonna walk down the street and you're gonna search through the bags. Only take the things you need. Do not be greedy. Norberta leads the way while Abuela walks by her side as her sidekick. There's 7 of us walking behind her. We're super hyped because we're just thinking of all the cool things we're about to come up on. We get to the truck and it's like a gold mine. We can't believe people would donate all these things. There are all kinds of clothes, books, toys. We want to take it all, but we have to be smart. Isn't this stealing? I asked my abuela. Well, no, because people donate these things for people like us. I continue searching through the bags. All the kids go for the toys, and I like books and pick up a couple I can read when my abuela leaves me home alone. I turn around, and I see Norberta carrying a giant teddy bear. It's like those bears are hella hard to win at the carnival. She screams, "It's mine!" We all get mad because she calls dibs on the bear and decides she actually wants to take it home to decorate her living room. In defeat, we all turn back carrying the bags of things we picked up from the old truck. We have clothes, toys, shoes, and books. As we're walking back, we hear a siren bleep. La policía! We scream when we make a run for it. We run like roaches when you turn the lights on. We hide behind cars, jumping into bushes, running past the street. Even my abuela runs. We turn back and we see Norberta's big body running, carrying the teddy bear. She won't let go of it, but it slows her down. Before we know it, the cop car has a bright light shining on her. On the megaphone, the cop says, "Ma'am, please put the bear down." Norberta doesn't really speak English, but she knows she's in trouble. She slowly places the big teddy bear on the cement, and as the cop walks towards her, she says, "No English, I thought it's free," she says before the cop tells her anything. The cop leaves her with a warning, and we all watch Norberta as she walks back towards us. The teddy bear sits lump-sided on the cement, her face in defeat. We all feel bad for her, but before we can say another word, she says, "Tomorrow, we're gonna find another truck." Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yossi. Yosimar. Please welcome Stella.
How y'all doing?
Good.
Sweet. My name is Stella Binion. I'm from Chicago. I'm here with both the National Student Poets Program, but I've also, the YCA family is also my family. So I'm going to be doing 2 pieces. The first accompanied by Harry. It's called So Much of Everything. So much of everything is a rat scuttling, is a garden plot overturned, is a nail nicked, is away from any place, is leaving and not being home, is a crease in a book spine, is an unwanted pretty, is slowing so slow you think there will never be a stop. And only sometimes everything is sun, is a young black boy standing in a square spot of grass, small muscled arms outstretched, pulsing, a closed eye type of breathing over what he knows, over what is his. And as bath soap suds climb through front yard fence posts, I bear witness on a walk home on a Sunday. I don't know much about ritual, but I now know what a liberation can look like. And when the air is only filled with constriction, I now know how to breathe this, and that, for now, is enough.
Stella!
Thank you. So this next piece is called An Alternate Heaven for Black Girls, and it's after a piece by Denez Smith. Imagine a field of grass, blades soft enough for our in-between toes, their dewdrops, the only thing pooling, so forehead and the baby black curls that are laid upon them stay resting, like bodies at night that lie but stay breathing in sheets, in skin not recoiled but languid, in their vanishing into the wholeness with the blackness of the night. Let legs be still, muscles be loose like they never known the pull of contraction against asphalt and ground slick, and the radiating red of bulbs flashing don't make us hold that or see it or bleed into it. I know my skin thinks this road too rough. Our rawness has still been open wounds since slavery and silence. I know what our bodies would look like unbent, like before we were told we were the things that could only bend and birth. I know the way we grew before holes were shot through our stomachs in the fertile soil that laid this earth first. Here, we don't have to explain that our roots aren't corrupted and won't corrupt. Here, no one tries to water us with bleach. Here, not just a heaven, not earth. There, when we were embraced, we pulled away and found a knife in our spine. There, no one liked to say that our bones were theirs too. There, our blood pooled, often, but here, the laws of gravity prevail, and no laws are blue and white laced and spit like lies, and no feet dangle. Last night, I dreamt for the first time in such a long time that I kissed the girl I loved, that I had a whole forest to call my own, that the earth dented and felt my full weight for the first time, a cavernous sanctuary just for me and my brown and my braids and these words to go on forever. There was a massacre last night, as there always is. Black holes where our bodies used to breathe dig into open caskets and gasp in spray-painted t-shirts and are felt in every step that a mother takes. But I woke up here. Here, when we are touched, we are not always bruised. Here, we know what it's like to hold and to be held. There were too many who thought of the treacherous ways to send us away, and look at us here, alive, someplace better. One day, we will all have the love we've deserved, and we will plant ourselves again. I'm done coming from a place that ain't me. Here, in this somewhere, black, black, and fertile, and there will be so much green, and flowers golden like end of August summer skin, and there will be so much that is soft, and no one would forget to say our names, and no one would forget us. Here, there is only us, whole, all night long.
Stella. Beautiful. Please welcome Charles.
How y'all doing? All right, y'all in the back must not be doing good, because y'all didn't say much. But my name is Charles. I'm from Chicago. I'm here with Young Chicago Authors. And so a little bit behind my poem, I had a friend who was killed in August of last year. And I don't know, the shock of that was like one of the worst feelings I've ever had, but also, I'm sorry, just give me a second. But also like one of the scariest things I think I've ever done was like talk to his mother afterwards, because it's, you don't know what to say to a mother who's lost her child. And me and his mom have kept like constant like communication throughout my senior year, and she's been like a really big part of it. And I was just like able to thank God that, you know, I just had her to talk to through some hard times. And I just think it really goes to show the resilience of Black women, that she lost her son and she was still there to help me through some of my hard times. And what inspired this poem was that she accepted his diploma at our graduation earlier this month. And so I decided to write a poem for all the Black children who died. So this is called The Announcements in Heaven's Daycare. If there's anyone here whose existence isn't voluntary, but the remains of broken childhood spent nights waiting by the window, how am I supposed to know where my breaking point is when they're still tearing at my self-esteem for an ounce of character, or for me to make an outcry, wolf? I'm tired of people telling me what I should be afraid of. Don't they know my fear itself is its own art? I am an allowance of space, deteriorating mass. The only law I can serve is my right to breathe over a field of dead bodies every time one of us wants to act out of place.
Charles. Okay. Gopal, welcome back. And Gopal, you're going to be joined by Nkosi and Harry, right? Okay.
Hi guys, I'm back. This poem is entitled In My Father's Shoes. On weary workday afternoons, he would pull the car into the lot, tires screeching as the garage thundered down, a domestic drum roll for this household hero. A caged bird screeched as the laundry room door swung open and shut behind him. I ran to him, barely wrapped my hands around his legs, and felt him pick me up with swooping strength. Giggling, I kicked my way down and promptly plopped my feet into his brown dress shoes. I couldn't read the faded brand name or tie the wound laces, but I could feel my feet sink into the worn leather curves that carried my dad to work every day. I couldn't see the size 10 label, but I could feel the mahogany material pick me up and give me something grown up to walk on. Like a boy drunk on his father's attention, I proudly drew every eye in the crowd. The clicking snap of the worn soles tapping the ground sent joy bouncing around the room, and my father's brown eyes smiled with every mismatched step his son took and every stumble his son had in his father's shoes.
Beautiful. Harry and Nkosi and Gopal. And I should tell you that all of these little collaborations you're seeing have happened in the last 24 hours. They met on the field of art, and now they are joined together. Please welcome Maya.
Hi, my name is Maya, and I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm here with the National Student Poets Program. I'll be reading another Ophelia poem. It is presumptuous to assume that beautiful girls have beautiful deaths. It's presumptuous to assume. There are thousands of poems written about her, mermaid in death, maid in life, unaided throughout thousands and thousands of poems. Listen, let the woman speak for herself. Let the woman have her own song. Let her grab the sword, shake madness out of story. Let her write letters that will never be published. This story is about a girl afraid of her own body, about a face like flames, humans as caricatures, fishtails and wreaths of violets, the forgiveness flower, about a fishbowl, airtight and bleeding. Let her carve her own garland out of verse. Let her have her death, unedited, floating as death should be. Let her sing, beautiful girls are still girls, and it is presumptuous to assume anything else. Thank you.
Maya. All right, please welcome back Ryan.
forgot to mention, I'm with Young Chicago Authors too.
Yes.
It's great. So this is a piece that I wrote for, I'm gonna be a sophomore next year, so like this is the first piece I wrote for the Young Chicago Authors event, Louder Than a Bomb. It's kind of like the first piece I wrote to perform like publicly at like a festival and that kind of stuff. And there's a term used in this poem called transgender. And what transgender is that when you're born as a certain gender, but you identify as something else, and that's something that I identify as. So it's like, I was born a girl, and I was like, you sure about that? So this piece is called Jack Whiteman. Problem number 1. If the inscribed angle TCA is 70 degrees, what is the measure of TA? My first thought is 140. The measure of the arc is 140. Jack Whiteman, my group mate, Jack's first thought, if what happens in Jack's head can be considered thought, normally it's just dick jokes. His first thought is, Ryan, what's an inside angle? Jack, it's inscribed angle. We've been doing this for 2 weeks, Jack. Inside Jack's icy blue eyes, his pupils widen and contract. You're like the smartest girl in this class, dude. Smartest guy, Jack. I am a dude. His hand goes to his man bun for comfort. He squints at me. His left eye closes in thought. Jack Whiteman is not the kind of man who can think with his eyes open. I'm transgender, Jack. I state, refocusing on the problem at hand. What do you mean you're a transbender? I look at him queerly. He looks at me queerly. I'm from Transylvania, Jack. You knew that. I mean, we've been over this before, haven't we? I mean, haven't you ever heard of Rocky Horror Picture Show? Whoa. Are you telling me that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is from Transylvania? I put my hands on his desk. Jack, I don't think you're following me here. I go up to the whiteboard and grab a marker. Jack Whiteman, I was a girl. I draw a stick figure girl with long hair and one eye. I don't have time for detailed drawing. Then I draw the face of a man with warm brown eyes, a charming smile, and a chiseled jawline. That I have time for. I am a man. A man, you understand, not a girl, not a tomboy, not a phase, a fad, or a fashion statement. Jack Whiteman, I am an admittedly very handsome man. Jack Whiteman, I am transgender, and god damn it, Jack Whiteman, you need to get math help. This just isn't that hard.
Ryan! All right. You've heard Nkosi on the piano, but you haven't heard him speak yet. And he's going to be joined by our very own Lil Buck. Hold on, you're good. I'm going to move this. Yeah.
Hello, y'all. My name's Nkosi. Can you hear me? Can I do this? All right. Nkosi Nkulaleko. I'm from Harlem, New York. So this is called, for y'all that don't know, Ars Poetica is basically like, a poem that kind of takes on very metaphorical shape on the process of writing poetry. And so this is called the rapper's Delightful Ars Poetica, and it goes a little something like this. All right. To pick a lyric like a glimmering sand, know that a meaning will spill a yielding grain. Still, carve life into a pretty life from death's thrilling blade. Here at the rim of my tongue, I risk the hustle. I risk the hassle to saddle this quickened animal, voyaging a page. I do. I cringe at the blued rhythm that I whisk to powder. Heed the power, I flip back to lyric. Historically, iron around flesh is no cage to me. The ones who cage are caged, it seems. I say it plain, pray you own a good muzzle that silences all of my breed. Yet we'll wail like ghosts herded at graves, laved in the fluorescent glare. And now I walk the planks of my mind, waiting for language to lose all of its moorings, and I'd sail. But I want it to be easy for once. Let me go, let me live, and go back to the hip, the hop, the hip, the hop, and you don't stop for rockin'. May this be Shakespearean chivalry or Kendrickonian ministry. I move through the days with my mother as she hums summertime to a jibber jabber gibberish that I make jive. At night, everything is casted over with shadow, and I risk the dark with a dance until death loosens the sand in an hourglass, making me so weightless, water could easily drag my body into its dazzling mouth. There are two forms of death. The future is one, walking with a scythe in the distance, blood lightning crawling in the corners of its eyes, its skull of holes filled with scarlet lakes. Music is the other, walking through the doors of our eyes to visit the soul distorted from grief. A damned people, beautiful minds. Look at what we'd sacrifice. We'd sacrifice everything to understand the groove that dies when it leaves our mouth. I'm on the shore of a beach, my lungs rushed with air, my throat parched from fire, my lips rustling through a poem as dawn dies the night away.
Bravo! Nkosi and Lil Buck. All right. Now please welcome for the first time this afternoon, Melanie. Mike. Go, Mike.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Now.
Okay. Hi, my name is Melanie. I'm 18 and I'm from the Bay Area. And I'm from Youth Speaks, which is a wonderful youth poetry organization. Also, we'll be holding Brave New Voices this year in the Bay Area from the 19th to the 23rd. If you like what you're seeing, go support more youth out there. And if you want to know more, you can ask our lovely DJ, MC K Swift. Also,
Can we hear it for K Swift, who's been helping us?
I have two poems for you guys. I can still smell her on my fingertips, the way she fell through them like a lost wave, an ocean I have not learned to swim yet. When you realize that you love girls, the way their hair floats like the life vest in that pool that you almost drowned in last summer, or the way her hands tiptoe across yours, tickle you like ocean waves bubbling up to your toes, realize that girls are beautiful, how they flow around you, make you drip like bodies of water colliding, creating life between your lips. You did not ask to be gay, but right now you are not complaining. When you are finally strong enough to look in the mirror and say out loud that you love girls, it'll be really funny when you realize that is not completely true. If you went back in time and asked me if I loved myself, I would laugh in your face. But you love girls, don't you? It took me a long time to realize that includes myself too. I often forget that when I call a woman beautiful, it is coming from my own lips, crafted by my own tongue, and blown out into a body that has experienced the same war that mine has. If I believed in God, I would say her legs part like heaven's gates. They do not open for no reason. We forget the appreciation worthy of golden gay goddesses has to come from somewhere, and we are worthy. Why don't we say that we are beautiful? The way our hair tangles like seaweed, floats like the buoy in this shifting ocean we are somehow breathing in, or the way our hands navigate the darkness of the deep, our bodies drifting out to sea, cradled by sand and salt beds, breathing, lifting in breast heartbeat until we are currents, pulling under skirts away from familiar shore until we float above this bed like there is a flood from all this wetness, like something gifted. Remember that every girl you love forgets her own beauty too. Remember that every time you embrace a part of her, you are loving yourself. The way her curves rise and crash like yours do. How she covers them up or lets them eat her up like sunlight swallowing her ocean waters. Learn how to swallow yourself. How to look in the mirror and see your hands that have fought through oceans to touch this woman. Give yourself the love that you give her. Drink yourself up like the drip of bodies of water colliding, creating life between your lips. Look in the mirror and say, girl, I am gay for you. Because no matter what, you will always have yourself. No matter how many goddesses flow their waves within you, you will always be an ocean that you know exactly how to swim. Thank you.
Woo!
For this next one, I want to do a quick trigger warning. There are mentions of sexual assault in this piece. Do what you gotta do, take care of yourself. I'm trying to write an uplifting poem about sexual assault. I've never tried to climb Mount Everest without an oxygen tank. I've never tried breathing underwater. I have fallen off a cliff once, though. It was a Santa Cruz afternoon. The sun groped my skin as I stepped down rocky path and slipped, watching the beach tumble on repeat. I was just trying to get to the ocean. Have you ever felt like your insides are being shucked from your spine like an oyster from its shell? That's what falling off a cliff, feels like. Anyways, I'm trying to write an uplifting poem about sexual assault. And you know when you were a kid, and you'd fly down a metal slide covered in slippery, chipped red paint under the summer sun, and you wished you had a red cape to match the red slide because you felt like a superhero and you swear you were flying. Nothing could stop your kidnap-worthy smile until rock bottom, where you fell off and found holes in your leg, redder than the story of your birth, redder than the slide and the cape to match. I've written poems about sexual assault. And you know when you were a kid, and you'd have huge scabs on your legs from flying, and you just keep picking and picking and picking at them, and they would just keep bleeding and bleeding and bleeding. I'm trying to write a poem that won't hurt you again. And I keep thinking of the scrapes on your childhood skin, your wounds being lifted from your body like grout out of shower tiles, or bleaching stains from the carpet, or unclogging potato skins from the sink. I don't think they sell Drano for bodies. Whenever I try to write about sexual assault, I keep talking about time machines. I keep talking about erasing. I keep trying to delete the things my skin has seen, but when I let go of my trauma, I shouldn't be letting go of myself too. I don't want to lose any more weight, buy any more deep clean body wash, baggy clothes and bras that don't fit. I don't want to watch my sisters re-strip themselves of skin and blood and voice. Why do we learn to erase instead of rebuild, rebirth, evolution, expansion, progression? I want to hold my vandalized body hand in hand and read what has been written there. I want to pick the words out, to play Scrabble with my mother, do the crossword puzzle in the Chronicle, and draw out maps for the girls alone. Tell them how to get home safe, how to feel safe inside their skin, no matter how much it betrays them. I'm trying to write my own poem. And you know when you were a kid, and you'd have those scabs, and you would just pick and pick and pick, and they would bleed and bleed and bleed. But each time they healed again, they got smaller and smaller. Thank you.
Melanie! Please welcome back Al.
Hey everyone. So I forgot to mention earlier that I'm a part of the Mural Arts Education Program.
In Philadelphia.
In Philadelphia, right, thanks. So heads up, I wrote this poem about my best friend, and I kind of liked her, and she didn't like my poem, but I wanted to share it with you guys. It's called Dearest Friend of Mine. The warmth left me, the smell of her hot breath, the texture of her clothes. Yes, oh, so soft. Left nothing but a cold, chilly remembrance of her spot next to me. I dried my tears on her, shouted and even fell asleep on her, yet she still holds me dear. I leaned on her, giving into the temptations to lay my worries, burdens, troubles on her, my constant variable. She took them and threw them, told me that I didn't need them, that I was stronger without the weight of the melancholy world that rested on my shoulders. I was not Atlas again, but I was Adonis' sister. She built me anew, found the self-worth I so naively thrown away and polished it, placing it delicately on my altar. Oh, dearest friend of mine, so quiet in your glorious shine, but your radiance speaks louder in its multi-layered volumes. Your silence is all the comfort I need in my agony. Your soothing hands rough with hard labor, calming my symphony of atonal sobs and many wet tears. Oh, refuge. You're my refuge. You're the only one left standing in my oasis after the hurricane blown full force through. You're the only one strong enough not to crumble under my rage. Countless times have I beat against you, and many more have you witnessed and faced stubbornly alone. You, my oasis.
That's Al. Please welcome Stella and Patricia. I'm going to borrow your stand for 1 second.
Awesome. Hey y'all, hello again, cool. So my name is Stella, and I am a queer black woman, and I'm about to introduce my dear friend Patricia, who's also a queer black woman, and these beautiful young people behind me who I've gotten to grow close relationships with and create with over these past few days. We all represent such an array of different identities in terms of race, ethnicity, gender, sexuality, and these identities, which are oftentimes marginalized and disenfranchised. And so who we are and our identities, we aren't really reflected in the rest of Aspen and the rest of the Ideas Festival. And so that's something to keep in mind and recognize. And throughout our trip, and specifically last night, there have been some microaggressive and harmful moments that have interrogated us and ourselves. And so Patricia wrote a piece in response. So, Patricia.
Thanks, Stella.
I only ask that you bear with me because it is a very new wound, and I've only written this morning. This is called The Ones Who Walk Away from Aspen. I should have known on the flight in, over the rugged terrain and what seemed like endless turbulence that sent my stomach diving into wonder, uncertainty, and delicious fear. I should have known what this trip would be like. It wasn't my first time. Last year, there was no safety net, only thin air, which I wasn't sure slept in the altitude or the tension of conversation. Yet, I allowed the unusual green to persuade me to envision my skin common to a place like this. I'm sure the travelers I came here with delighted themselves with thoughts like mine, ignored the primitive caution that plagued their tongues, as did I. Aspen is exactly the promise of someone's forefathers. The festival spreads throughout the town where jazz musicians cuddle the court with promises of serenity, culture, and the motivation to aspire to live here forever. It is a siren song. There are crows here. I'm sure you've seen one or two resting in the nook of a tree branch, snickering as they watch you suffocate without even feeling it. For me, Aspen is a condescending apology, a precursor to guilt. Aspen exists in the lie of the white man's burden. I know what you're thinking. How ungrateful. How dare she? I know some of you have spent lots of money for youth like Granite, Black, and Here, but as one of my fellow CYLA participants, Mana, pointed out to me, erasable. All of this makes you feel like you've done a justice for the world. And in some ways you have. You've allowed me another reason to think about what liberation means for people who look like me, people of color, people who aren't quite sure what to make of why gender is so damn important to the Constitution, people who are queer and like me always feeling the need to prove the validity of that existence. We all have found a safe space within each other's ideas and nuances, within each other's questions and tears and righteous anger. And we've created a bubble that, though invisible, illuminates us in a place like this. That is why when we see a Black couple A young black couple in regular clothes laughing to themselves across the street. We share a moment of solidarity, not knowing each other, but knowing the strangeness of being here. And that is why when we laugh and wave, a white woman walks up to us and goes, "You guys are doing such a good job of being calm. You guys are just so quiet." That is why when I have not even opened my mouth, I have not expressed an emotion beyond my body, the white man sitting behind me takes a picture of my hair without knowing my friend is taking a picture of him. All of this while we sit in a room and listen, in a room of whiteness, and listen to people talk about how dear the Constitution is to them, and tokenizes the very important but singular narrative of a brown person, an immigrant who was one of the few lucky enough not to have his existence on this land debated by Republicans and Democrats alike. I make a promise to myself in the midst of this to take my power back from the white man who has decided to cage it in the confines of his phone, where maybe he'll send the picture to his wife and kids like I'm an unusual exhibit in the zoo. Maybe he will send it to his colleagues back home, a seething text about how much space my hair takes up, angry that he could not see the speakers on stage. Or maybe, once the session is over, he will tap me on my shoulder and express how much he's enjoyed my hairstyle throughout the length of the session. I will respond, "Oh yes, I see you took a picture." He will laugh and ask me where I'm from. I'll say Chicago, and as a means to cut off the uncomfortable encounter, wish him enjoyment of the souvenir he's acquired. But he is not done. He will make it perfectly clear his end goal when he asks me how often I wash it and if I can really get to the root. I feel myself get smaller and smaller as I say, as often as anyone washes their hair. He'll reach out his hand and offer his name, Scott. And I shake it, feeling the transference of power causing ugly turbulence to churn in the gut of my existence. Ursula K. Le Guin says, "They all know it is there, the people of the Omalas. Some of them have come to see it. Others are content merely to know it is there. They all know it has to be there. Some of them understand why and some do not, but they all understand that their happiness, the beauty of this city, the tenderness of their friendships, the health of their children, the wisdom of their scholars, the skill of their makers, even the abundance of their harvest and kindly weathers of their skies depend on this child's misery. And I think about our place here and the places we will exist afterwards. I cannot speak to the travelers who have come with me, but I do know that I will go back to a house where the power is out until next week. I will go unsure of where I will live in the upcoming school year. I will go back to a system, an education system where art is constantly being attacked and kids are forced out of their school because other kids have moved into their neighborhoods and stacked a new private school in place of a public school. This is called the Aspen Ideas Festival. I've been here twice and have heard little to do with the places we'll go back to. I feel most black when thrown against a sharp white space. How could Zora have known? Why didn't Baldwin tell us that we are a stranger in every village assumed to be white space? The worst part is, the ones who walk away from Aspen are people who go off to create other places like Aspen. Places that we should feel lucky to participate in, and in return, there can be no guilt, because this is a charity. Something to remember about charity, though, it works from top to bottom. It only gives as a means of protecting supremacy. It is not as a means of understanding, not a means of mutual cultural collaboration and progress. How do we get there? For those of you who truly understand and want to unlearn your power and privilege, and how a place like this, where there are very few people of diverse ethnic and queer background, fosters that power, here's a big idea. Invite us to the conversation in the first place without the censorship of money, without stages moderated by white men, and without the confines of elitist culture. But further than that, I list all of you to think about your role in the festival. Have you done anything to make someone feel that they do not belong? Have you witnessed anything that you have not spoken out about? Think about the panels you've seen.
How many of them consider the complexity of technological process and how it could lead to the disenfranchisement and exploitation of others? Lastly, I encourage you to listen to ideas not initially seeking conversion, but just the understanding of someone else's humanity. And I think that is the best way to pave the road to an honest, equitable, and good society.
Patricia. Thank you, Patricia. Please welcome Maya for the first time.
Well, before I start, I just have a question. Is there anyone at all of Arab descent in this audience? Okay, cool. Well, then this is for the Arab people, hopefully, that will be here next year.
Second one. There, you go.
So preface this poem. I'm used to being the only kid like that in a space, but to preface this poem, Arabs are still considered white, which I think is very interesting, to say the least. So, this poem is called Legally Blonde. When I ask what box to check off, my mother tells me Arabs are mixed olive oil and za'atar, made of the constellations in the hands of a drunken potter. The neck of the subway asks for mercy. The fire escape ran away. My name doesn't know what to do when it finds me. We nod our head, break our bread. We've stolen the light of stars. The dragon is dying. In an incomplete poem of mine, a sentence challenged another. Afterwards, one of my phrases was dead and the other bleeding on the page. I'm no astronaut. You ask me to kindly check off my box. I answer, how many wars broke out where I wasn't killed? How many floods have I ebbed in? How many poems have I written? The night sharpens her fingernails on my back. Am I dark enough? Light enough? Quiet? Angry enough? It's never enough. I trip off of people's tongues. If nothing remains in your sky except holes called stars, if winter is long and yet you remain the flavor of dawn, the light of distances, you, daughter of the wrong-headed Phoenician who suffered the alphabet he had imagined in a fever dream, if Fig whispered what your lips were too shy to say, if you and the sea share the same death, if your first childhood was just another wound traced in mulberry, if you rename the moon, have you wept among ruins or written on sand or learned how to praise the wind? More importantly, is your throat clogged with cement? If under your eyelashes Ophelia sleeps, if you must be a wasp but make your own honey, if your anxieties lounge on your shoulders, if your walls are not walls but the backbone of a man who once said no, if your body was an idea you wrote in red, your magic is worn, your chants are asleep, water refuses to unbutton her dress, ginger and cinnamon, pomegranate syrup. If you resist the authority of words on paper, conspire with new ink, if you only bathe in pools of silver, if your limbs are splintered cedar, if these words lounge on your palate like the royalty they assumed, saffron, these bodies that learn to bow, the horizon here is a pillar of salt. An alphabet of limbs, we walked in dictionaries of dead paper, here dusk takes time by the throat. Have I told you the wound? Don't stop dreaming, dear piece of clay. If your heart is full of potholes, if your birthplace is arrested and executed each day, if you are dulce de leche tinted, eyes the color of Coca-Cola, hair that winds into curls at the hint of rain clouds, if your grandfather lights his pipe on his broken bed, in his ruined room, in his heaving home, in his obliterated city, in his cracked country, and still sings along to Feiruz, calls to tell you how the radio signal is working today, you've been learning, even before today, how to color your ink with resistance. If your body is not big enough, if your bones are cracking, if your vitamin B is lacking, if you are not a darkness, but an abundance of night, if your earth is porcelain, then you may be white, including Middle Eastern origin. Thank you.
Maya. And Maya's got one more with Harry.
So this next piece is called Lips, Cheek, Lids. And to preface this, it's kind of about, you know, I see all those kind of really whack makeup tutorials on Instagram. Like people are blending their makeup with like condoms and eggs, and it's crazy. So this is Lips, Cheek, Lids. The crown of curls on little brown girls, an inheritance of impermanence, a fiefdom of pearls. The poetry has a bone to pick with you, a gateway to hell, all we couldn't fit into an actually well. The electricity in your crackling, cackling revolution, the one whose hair is bleeding, lips, cheek, lids, your lines, seduction, and sorcery are plagiarized from the sea. May takes its leave in a flurry of rain. This was how we defined a fraying winter. Saffron and generally citrus trees barren. You paint yourself with shades of lavender, honey, blood, fertile colors. You search the entity, gaps through which God shines through. These stains of bleeding cherry, sacrificial archetypes, the brand name bags beneath your lashes. You smile warmer, sit up taller, try to contour your nose smaller, lips, cheek, lids. Beauty to you is the fuchsia stains on mother's coffee cup, the smudging eyeliner leading the depke, always blurring and in bemused motion, lips, cheek, lids. Trace your lips in liner, lave your lids. You taste of honeydew, pat on essences, lily pad, change, and continuity. There is no afterward. The mountain comes willingly to discuss the forest with you. Lips, cheek, lids. Blur your face in honey. Remember the Arabs invaded Andalusia first. Remember Granada was their defeat, a lost Byzantine, mired in essence of grenadine, lulled into pomegranate syrup. The underwire of your brassiere wakes you bonjour, wishes for the moon. You paint the stars more sins, forget your hips, keep panning for gold, itch for rains, lips, cheek, lids. You with the low sun face and the burning mountain eyes, whose gestures are bird song. You crawl for white beauty, barter your legs, find you're still the barren soil color of bombed embassy. Rust is still your legacy. The night comes and you break into stars, lips, cheek, lids. Your palms stink of cinnamon. You tire of flirting with fate. Destiny always called you a tease. You start to police the volume of your breath, lips, cheek, lids. You democratized honey. Every night you dream of magma. Flicker, demand your shoulders, claim Mosul isn't. Rewrite your wrists, your door is left open. Wash off your face for the night, dream of how to hold onto a culture green and gold in a land of red and blue and always, always white. I think my chest homes wasps, moths, timid flies. You sketch a city grid, forget again to forbid, lips, cheek, lids.
Harry and Maya. Thank you, Harry. We have one more we haven't met yet. Manna.
Hello, my name is Manna Simone Middlebrooks. I am originally from Philadelphia and an alum of Philly Young Playwrights, and now I live in DC. And I'm gonna do 2 monologues because I am a theater artist by trade. So the first one, thank you. The first one is from Robert Ike's Oresteia, and the second one is from a play that I hold near and dear to my heart, A Wolf in Snakeskin Shoes by Marcus Gardley. There are a certain few people in a life that you absorb. They stay alive in you even after they've gone. Ideas, their way of laughing, the things that they think, and your connection to them becomes so strong that the splitting, when it comes, will be violent. It can't not be violent. They made you. And losing someone, you lose part of yourself. We are so horribly tied to each other, so bound together. And as you lose someone, as you watch them fall over the edge, some invisible cord pulls tight and rips a lump of flesh from under your skin. I miss them. I know you think that I'm this person that doesn't feel anything, that I'm hurt. The person that knew you when you were beautiful and loved you when you were. You only get one of those.
Man up! Okay, we're almost done. We've been given permission to run 5 long, and I have 2 special things. Not quite yet. Not quite yet. We got Maya E, and then we've got Charles, and then we're out. Maya, please join us with Harry. With Harry. Settle down, everybody.
Hi, I'm Maya, and I'll be reading a poem called Bird Girl after Emily Dickinson's poem. Bird Girl. The monsoon brings birds inside the little apartment, their feathers wild and slick, oil and water. My grandmother feeds them dry mountains of puffed rice, the youth in her face translucent, as if she hadn't endured life, death, marriage, and feeding the birds every day, as if the birds have known her forever as wise and kind and forgiving. I am angry, I am vindictive, I am forgettable, flighty, bird-like, and hungry. Emily tells me hope is a thing with feathers, but all I can see is rain. Sometimes I forget birds have hopes too. They want more than tired rice and chewed up lollipop sticks. And somehow this irritates me, makes my stomach hurt, makes the bird locked up inside of me scratch and tear. But tell me, is it wrong to want more than just survival? My grandmother was a girl too, I suppose. I look at her, the bird inside me thrashing around, trying to escape a different sort of monsoon. Thank you.
All right. Maya and Harry, we're going to take it on out with a song. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Party with us right here. Thank Harry, please. Thank Yosi and Kosi on piano. Lil Buck, K Swift, and the poets of Creative Young Youth Alliance. Charles, bring it.
Can y'all hear me out of this?
Oh,
this
yeah.
microphone, wait.
Oh,
Okay,
you're
cool,
on.
so-
Don't you worry.
All right, so we're about to have fun to a song that I wrote in 10 minutes. And it's by far my best song. So if you want to dance, like, please dance. It helps me, it helps them. Like, and if we gonna look stupid, let's look stupid together. I'm trying to get you on the floor and get you dancing, baby. I heard you ain't been getting no love from your boyfriend lately. Hey, Ain't that not none of my business? So you can call me crazy. Let me get you dancing, baby, look. And let me get you dancing, baby, look. I'm trying to get you on the floor and get you dancing, baby. I heard you ain't been getting no love from your boyfriend lately. Ain't that not none of my business? So you can call me crazy. Let me get you dancing, baby, look. And let me get you dancing, baby. Gone with your bad self. Gone with your bad self. Gone with your I can be that one you never had. So say gone with your bad self. Gone with your bad self. Gone with your I can be that one you never had. So look, me and you could have a ball. I mean, me and you could have it all. I don't know what he's saying, but I know that he's playing, so we could put him in the bucket like basketball. And no, I'm not really bad at all. I mean, it just depends who you ask, that's all. I could be your best friend, your boyfriend, yes man, no man, so damn. I apologize and I ain't no better. My homie's the same, and yes, I'm ashamed. What I do, you like him, you can bet that's a never. One that you need like a street that needs pavement. No, I'm not a hero, like you need saving, not like you need helping, just you get the message. Even if we don't work out, I can still be the one that you flex with, the one that talk to you all day till you get it. I've been waiting for you, rearranging the country, just changing for you, and I see how they treat you. I know they so rude. You know that I love you. I stay fighting for you. Forgive out the past, just things you can't undo. Say that's your pride, and they can't take that from you. Doing all this because you so beautiful, and I'm done with this running. I'm coming for you, like I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. Cause I'm done with this running. I'm coming for. Trying to get you on the floor and get you dancing, baby. I heard you ain't been getting no love from your baby. Ain't that not none of my business? So you can call me crazy. Let me get you dancing, baby. Look, and let me get you dancing, baby. Look, I'm trying to get you on the floor and get you dancing. I heard you ain't been getting no love from your baby. Ain't that not none of my business? So you can call me crazy. Let me get you dancing, baby. Look, and let me get you dancing, baby.